All right.
I don't know what to do, really.
Okay. Okay. This is where our notes come in handy, because we have a whole section in our notes that tells us the property, or that helps us practice the properties of logarithms. When logarithms are subtracted, it means the numbers are divided. So we're going to put that together. Instead of having two logarithms, we put it together in one. And when it goes together as one logarithm, it goes together as a division. Okay? So if I look at the next one, it is exactly the same idea, except notice this is an add. And there's this crazy 2 out here. So this goes along with what we learned today. That 2 can actually be written as an exponent. So log base 5 of x plus log base 5 of m squared. It's the opposite of what we did today. Today we pulled it off and put it out front, but it works the other way. When you're trying to smush it all back together into the original problem, the 2 pops out in front. Now, when I put these 2 together, I put them together as a division because that was a subtraction. This is an add. So how do you think those are going to go together since it's an addition problem?
Multiplication?
Yes. So it's going to be log of x m squared. X times m squared. So
this part,
yes.
is it all like memorizing?
Yeah, you got to
Like
know your
know
properties.
property.
Got to know your properties. Yep. Yep. But this one should be easy for you because we talked about it a lot today. When there's a coefficient out in front of a logarithm, it started out as a power. That's how it got out there. It was a power. So now we're just putting it back. And then, yeah, you got to remember that when logarithms are added, the numbers are multiplied. So I'll do the last one in that section, and then I need to go to Kirsten because she's in a different class and has different homework. But I'll do the last one in this section. So this is almost exactly the same thing, guys. What am I going to do with that 3?
Move it to an exponent?
Exactly. So it's going to be log base 7a cubed. Now I've got a logarithm minus a logarithm, which is exactly what I had in the first problem. So that means when I put it together as one logarithm, it's going to be a what?
Over.
Yes, it's going to be a division. A cubed over c. Yep, that's your answer. So the first thing we did was simply make this an exponent again. And then we put them together as a division problem because of the subtraction. Okay? Now, you guys start working on number 2, which is the opposite of this. See if you can take it all apart while I work with Kristen on one of her questions. All right? Which one do you want, Kirsten? Which homework are we looking at?
I'm on 3.3. I didn't really have one specifically. I thought we were just like working through other people's problems. I didn't realize it was separate periods. But I guess can we look at 1A?
Yeah. So you have the log base 4 of 1/16. Now, you can do this a couple of different ways. Kirsten, it might be easiest for you to say, okay, set it equal to x. That's what I want to know what it equals. And then you can loop-de-loo it, which we talked about today. So that would be 4 to the x equals 1/16. 4 to the x equals 1/16.
It was 1/16. Okay, I see that.
And then you got to figure out what power do we have to raise 4 to get 1/16. Now remember, 16 is 4 squared, right?
-4?
-2.
-2.
Yeah, -2. 4 to the -2nd. Yeah, so the answer would be -2. All right, so I'll do B. B is the same thing. Now, do remember that log means the base is 10. We don't write the 10 in normally, but it's there. Okay, so now I want to know what this equals, so I'm going to loop-de-loo it. 10 to the x equals 100. So what does x have to equal?
2.
2, yeah. All right, so why don't you work on the rest of those? Now, there are a couple of different ones in there, so just do your best. But work on some more on that page, okay? And I'll come back to you in a minute, all right?
Okay.
All right, the rest of you people, what did you get for problem A? Who got an answer to problem A when you split that all apart?
Okay, I don't know if this is right,
Okay?
but isn't log 8 xy minus log 8z?
Okay, almost. That's a good first step. It's perfectly good. You're just not quite done. That can be split up. How is this going to be split up? You did the division as a minus. How are we going to do the multiplication?
Do you put it in front of the
No. It's log x plus log y. It becomes an addition. When these are multiplied, it's an addition problem. Just like you made this a subtraction because it was a division, you got to make this an addition because it's a multiply. When we split them up, we want to have one logarithm for every letter. So since you have an x, y, and z in your problem, you want to have a log x, a log y, and a log z. So x and y are being added, and z is being subtracted. Now, the next one.
Can this is forward?
Yes.
So for right now, I'm like writing down all the work on these notes, and then I'm like transferring some of the answers to Notability. But I'm doing it on the side so I can keep up. So do you want me to like send a picture of both when I turn in my homework?
Well, I need to see your work. So yeah, if your work isn't there, you'll have to send all of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've got this one. Okay? Now, this is a multiplication. So the first thing we're going to do is make it an addition. That is a multiply, just like this was a multiply. So when we pull it apart into two separate pieces, it becomes an addition. Now, radicals do not live in logarithm land. What's another way of writing the cube root of x? What power is a cube root? Oh my gosh, guys, it's 1/3. Remember, fractional exponents are radicals. You can't forget all that stuff. Fractional exponents are radicals. Now, since I've made this radical a 1/3 power, what am I going to do with that power? Where do powers go? Where did they go today in class when we did all those problems?
In front.
Exactly. So we're going to have the log base 7 of 2. There's nothing to do there. Plus 1/3 log base 7 of x. Now you work on C while I grab another question here for Kirsten. So you guys all work on letter C. Exactly the same thing. Split it up and put your powers out in front. All right, Kirsten, what'd you get for C? Did you get an answer for C?
I was trying to skip over C because I wasn't sure with the radical or the fifth
Okay.
radical
Yeah.
and the.
Okay, well, C, C is not one we want to skip over. C
Okay.
is exactly like the rest of them that you're supposed to be doing here. So this is what we've got. And you're just going to set it equal to X because you want to know what it is. And you're going to loop-de-loo it. So 8 to some power is the fifth root of 8. Now, this is what I was just talking to them about. Radicals are fractional powers. So the fifth root of 8 is 8 to the 1/5. The fifth root of 8 is 8 to the 1/5. Okay?
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's second year algebra. You know that. So then, since I have 8 to the x equals 8 to the 1/5, clearly x equals 1/5.
Oh yeah, it just cancels out.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that was pretty simple.
It is, when the
I
bases
missed
match.
one. I gotta go. I'm sorry.
That's okay. All right.
Thank you, though.
See ya.
I'll be back tomorrow.
D. D is actually a property that we just memorized. This is for Kirsten now. D is 5. So 6 to log base 6 to 5, when those two numbers
It
match,
cancels out.
yeah, it's 5.
It was just-
And E would be 8 for the very same reason, because it's log base E of 8 is your exponent, so that would just be 8. There's no work or anything, that's just the power, or property, I mean. Okay?
Because if any number has the same, if any long number has the same base, then okay, then it cancels out.
Yep.
And then ln next to E,
Yep.
anywhere, like if it's in front or an exponent,
Yep,
would it ever be behind it?
I don't think so, I don't know, I can't think of a case where it would be. All right, so you start with F and work your way down on this homework paper. And I'm going back to these guys now and seeing what they've got. So, you guys, 2C. What did you get for 2C? You split it up.
Is it log 6 over 4, like 4 exponent plus log 6, 3 minus.
Log base 6. It would be like this.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with that.
What do you mean? The 3 is an exponent on the x, so it comes out in front of the x logarithm. The 3 doesn't have anything to do with the 4, so you were right. The 4 part is just log base 6 of 4, but the 3 is the exponent on the x, so it's going to come out in front of the x logarithm.
And then is it minus log y or minus
7.
log 7? I don't know.
It's minus 7 log y. The exponent comes out in front. So 7 is the exponent, so it's going to come out in front. And that is a minus because in the problem it was a division. Now, for the last section, oh, you guys, this is straight out of your notes, and these are all exactly the same. To evaluate a logarithm that you do not have a button for on your calculator, you just take the log of, in this case, the log of 11 divided by the log of 6. That's something you just need to memorize. And remember when we talked about this, I said you'll never get confused about what goes on the top or the bottom, because this number is on top of this number. This is always the top number, this is always the bottom number. So we just type into our calculator log 11 divided by log 6, and we'll get some decimal. Don't forget to close the parentheses. So what would B be? What would letter B be? What are we going to type in on our calculator for letter B?
Log 102.
Yep, divided by.
Log 4.
Yep, that's it. That's all there is to it. It is that easy. And you get a decimal for it. That'll come out to be a decimal. All right. Now, homework 3.3, CP people, the first section is just type it in on your calculator. So don't tell me, if you even tried that, you can do that. You're just typing that in. So work on typing that in, and then get started on number 2 while I come back to Kirsten and check her work. So, Kirsten, what did you come up with?
I'm still working through, but I have ln to the x power equals e, to the 1/3, so x equals 1/3.
1/3, perfect. The answer is 1/3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, good. All right, did you get it? Did you move on to number 2 yet?
No, I'm sorry, I was working slowly.
That's all right. So I want you to remember to loop-de-loo on all of these problems. These problems are all very similar to the ones we did in class. The ones we did in class were much harder. These are the simple versions, but you're just going to loop-de-loo all of them. So you're going to say 10 to the negative first equals x.
2 to the negative. Yeah, because the loop-de-loop.
And
right.
Anything to the negative means 1 over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your answer
So then
is
x
just
equals, 110.
110, yep. Okay, so then you keep
For
going.
then the next one would be, you don't roll with ln.
You do.
Oh, you can.
Mhm.
Okay. So then it would be, you put your e
Uh-huh.
at the bottom.
Yep.
Then you'll roll the e, so e to the 4th power
Yep.
equals x.
Yep.
And then
You're done. E
Oh.
to the 4th is the answer.
okay, you don't have to plug it in the calculator.
No. Unless
Give us the
it's,
board.
unless it's,
I have to leave.
okay, we'll see. Unless it's a word problem or something where you like need an actual decimal answer, you don't type it in.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, so you keep going on the rest of those. And then I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
And you other people, what did you get for 1A? We're now on homework 3.3. What did you get for 1A?
Is it 0.564?
So, yeah, it's 10,000, so you'll want to go 4 decimal places. But yes, that's exactly right. What did you get for B?
I haven't gone that far yet because I just finished the number 3.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll keep going on it then. And I'll come back. Then, okay. Bye. I'm going to come back to Kirsten now. All right. Did you get an answer for C, Kirsten?
Not yet, but I know since doing it in class, you divide -2 first.
Yes, exactly.
And then you'll get your log x equals -3.
Yep.
And then you'll probably do the loop-de-loop.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
And then let me see if you circled x or no, you bring the 10. Okay, 10 base. 10 to the -3rd equals x, which
Yep.
is like 1 over 1,000.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Okay. And then I guess for ln x, you would put e at the base.
Yep.
And ln e at the base. And then you do your loop-de-loop. Ln e, loop-de-loop. So then e to the 1/2 equals x.
Yep. And you can leave it that way, or you can recognize that e to the 1/2 is the same as the square root of
The
e.
square.
It doesn't make any difference, whichever you're most comfortable with.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I always forget that it's the over exponent of 1/2 is the same as the radical.
You can't forget that. So the next one is going to be exactly the same. It's 10 to the 1/3 equals x.
Right, and then that will be 1/1000.
No.
10. Oh, wait, no, because it's the
It's a radical, not
it's
a
the
fraction.
radical,
Yep.
right.
So it's the cube root of 10.
Cube root of 10.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
All right, now you're going on to 3.4, and I'm coming back to them. All right, what did you get for B now? 1B, guys, 3.3, 1B. What'd you get?
I had a question. How do you do the ln?
Kennedy, you have an LN button. You just press it.
Oh, anyways. I got it. Oh wait. Ah. Can you get a negative?
Yes, you can.
Oh,
You absolutely
I got
can.
negative 0.405.
Yep. 5.
Yeah. Wait. Do you round that?
If what comes after your 4?
Oh, 6.
So yes, you round it up.
So then is the number, the first problem, is that 5647?
Yep. And then what happened on letter C?
It's also negative, right? Or it said domain error.
Exactly. You can't do it. You can
So-
come out with a negative answer, but you can't put in a negative number. So when the calculator says error, it's error. So there's no answer to 1C.
Alright.
Okay?
Now number 2.
Okay, so number 2, first of all, I want you to go down to E, because E is a special one. The answer to E is what? Take a wild guess. There's no work. You look at it and you can tell me the answer is what for problem E?
No answer? Is
5.
it 5?
It's 5. Yes, it's 5.
Why is
There's a
it
prop. Okay, stop. This is what you guys absolutely need to do. You've got to go back and look at your notes. We did a whole bunch of examples. If you have this, it's a property. Don't ask me why. It just is. And that is written down in your notes. It's supposed to be. When these two numbers are the same, this is the answer. Okay?
It's short on to go.
Okay, be safe. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. You too.
All right, so that one is different. That E is different. All the rest of them, I'm going to suggest, especially after our conversation today, that you do what Kirsten was doing, and that is just set them equal to X, and then loop-de-loo them. Because you all know how to loop-de-loo, so I just took that first problem, 2A, and set it equal to X, because that's what I'm trying to figure out. What does this equal? Now, I know that the base here is E, because I know ln means a base is E. So when I loop-de-loo it, it says e to the x equals the fourth root of E. What power is a fourth root? No, that would be E squared. What's a radical means you're going to have a fractional exponent.
1/4.
1/4. So your exponent is 1/4. Because e to the 1/4 is the same as the fourth root. The 1/4 power is the same as the fourth root. Okay? Now, I want you guys to try B, C, and D on your own. Set them equal to X, loop-de-loo, and solve. Kirsten, where are you now?
I don't know if I'm ready for 3, 4 yet. Mrs. White said she posted some YouTube videos that I think I have to watch to like learn about this one because we did 3-3 before we left for break, but we didn't get to 3-4 yet.
Okay, well, in my Schoology, chapter 3 folder are all of our class videos. So it doesn't really matter what videos you watch, but they're all in there. Chapter 3 has all of our class videos that we've done so far. So quickly, I want to go down to part 3 on 3-4, because actually this whole page is just properties you need to know, but part 3 is super simple. When you want to evaluate that, like A, we use what's called the change of base formula, but it's easy. It's not even like a formula. What you type into your calculator is the log of 57 divided by the log of 13. So it's the log of this number divided by the log of this number. And like I just told them a minute ago, we never get that confused because this number's on top of this number. This number's down below. So when I do it, that number's down below. So that's it. That's all there is to it. So we type in log 57 divided by log 13. It's going to spit out a decimal, and that's the answer.
Okay.
Now, I want to caution you about B, though, because there's that pesky coefficient out there in front. It has to be dealt with, okay? Remember, this isn't an equation, so you're not going to divide by 2. You can't. There's no equals. This is an exponent. Remember, in a logarithmic expression, exponents become coefficients. So before this was out here, it was up here. So this is the log base 6 of 10 squared, or, I think I've been talking to myself.
I'm sorry, I got kicked out.
That's okay. So it's the log base 6 of 10 squared, or the log base 6 of 100. Then, then you do this. You can't do this when that 2's there. So we do this first, and then we'll say the log of 100 over the log of 6.
And what is it called when you move the 2 from in front to make it a decimal, like a coefficient to make it an exponent?
That's just one of the properties of logarithms.
Okay, just
the property says the log base b of m to the n is n log base b of n. It's just how logarithms work.
Got it.
Coefficient becomes an exponent and vice versa.
Coefficient becomes okay,
Okay.
cool beans.
Now,
Thank you.
you can do C, it's exactly the same thing, and then you can watch some videos. I don't remember I guess it's section 3.4. So you can watch some videos about how to use those properties. Part 1 and part 2 are opposites of each other. So if you know how to do part 1, then just do the opposite, and that's how you do part 2.
Okay, cool beans.
All right?
All right, thank you. My iPad, so I don't know what's happening. My notes, my homework disappeared because I was doing it like green. But I think it's coming back. Okay, pop.
Well, if it doesn't come back, I video flex also. So once I get this downloaded, everything I've said and done on the board will be on video too.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Beans. Thank you.
All right. All right. So what have you guys got for me now?
Okay, hopefully this is right.
Okay.
But for B, I got 2.
Yes.
Okay. And then for C, is it 0?
It is 0. Good.
And then for D, -2.
Got it. Got it.
Good.
Now, part 3 is exactly the same in terms of you're going to loop-de-loop.
Okay.
So go ahead and see how far you can get with part C. Or part 3, I mean, part 3.
I have to look at my notes.
No, you don't. What's the base on 3A?
Is it just, because don't you move the x over?
No. What's the base of the logarithm? When you just see log, yes, your base is 10. So then you're just gonna loop-de-loo it, so what's it gonna say?
100.
Yeah, it's gonna say 10 to the second equals x. So that's 100.
No.
Now what are you gonna do with b? Look at it
Divide,
carefully.
yeah.
Yes, you're gonna divide by 2.
And then it would just be x equals -1.
No, you have to loop-de-loo it. You must loop-de-loo when you have to get rid of your logarithm. So what's your base?
X.
No, what's your base? 10. So you're gonna say 10 to the negative first equals x?
Can you do number 3B and 4?
Yep. These are exactly like the ones we did in class
So wait,
today.
what was the
We
answer
did
for
harder
me?
ones. What did you get? What did you get, Kennedy?
Miss Ford, you're cutting out.
I don't know.
Oh, you're fine now.
So I divide by 2. I know this is base 10, so 10 to the negative first is x. 10 to the negative first is x. So x is 1/10. Hector, what's confusing about that?
It's the looping. It was kind of confused, but I got
Okay.
it now.
You've got to be able to do that because we do that in almost every problem. All right, so ln x equals 4. What's the base here?
10.
8.
E.
E.
E. So the base is E. So when I loop
So
de
E to
loo,
the 4th.
E to the
X
4th.
to the 4th.
And that's it. Done. That's your answer.
Okay, I think I'm I'm good. Thank you for helping me. I'm gonna watch over the videos and finish 3-4.
Okay, and you can come back. I'm not sure we have flex tomorrow, but I know we have it Thursday. So you can come back then if you didn't get something. Okay?
Okay, cool beans.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, guys, this is problem D. 3D. What's going to be the first thing I'm going to do with it?
Divide.
Divide by a half, which is the same as multiplying by 2,
Yeah.
right? So log x equals 4.
So be 10 to the 4th.
Exactly.
1,000.
The base is 10, actually
10,000.
10,000, yeah. 10 to the 4th equals x. So the answer is 10,000. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. Now, it's pretty much all done and ready to turn in, but you guys might think about, go ahead and turn it in, but you might think about working back through some of those again and making sure that you can, get those answers.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Miss Ford.
You're welcome, Kennedy. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. Bye.
Bye-bye. See ya.
Thanks, Miss Ford.
But you're welcome, Hector.
Bye.
See ya.